Hi. My prayers changed on becoming a Christian. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, I believed in God. But when I accepted the New Testament gospel, that Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection paid for my sins, and faith in that forgives and saves, that's when my prayers deepened. My conversation with God became more intimate. I listened to the Word. I spent more time reading His Word. And I talked with an openness reserved for one's dearest friend. I prayed when I was a witness, and some of my prayers were more intense than others, but way too many of them, I would have to say, were repetitious, monotonous, routine, going through the motions. They were less personal, and I was doing my very best. I tried to make them personal, but there was a distance, this aspect of distance between me and God, more like talking to a respected acquaintance than to one's own father. You don't have the same openness with someone even that you have high regard for, but there's an intimacy if it's your father. So you don't hold back like you might with someone that you just are familiar with and respect. Many ex-witnesses express to us that they have difficulty praying once they leave Jehovah's Witnesses. I would suggest give yourself time. It will take time. The org is the one that betrayed you, not God. And try, if when you are praying, try praying to Him as Jesus taught His disciples to pray. Call Him Father when you pray. I wanted to share with you some thoughts from Alexander Maclaren on prayer in his sermon, How to Obey an Impossible Injunction. His text is from Philippians 4, verse 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. He starts the sermon by giving you the setting of this sermon. This is Paul who has spoken these words. And Paul at the time was a prisoner in a Roman prison. And when Rome fixed its claws, it did not usually let go without drawing blood. He was expecting his trial, Paul that is, which might, so far as he knew, very probably end in death. Everything in the future was entirely dark and uncertain. Yet Paul, with all the pressure of personal sorrows weighing upon him, and in the very crisis of his life, turned to his brethren in Philippi, who had far fewer causes of anxiety than he had, and cheerfully bade them, Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make their request known unto God. It is, if a thing is great enough to threaten or to make me anxious, it is great enough to be spoken about to God. If He and I were on friendly footing, the instinct of friendship will make me tell Him everything. Entire openness of speech should mark our intercourse with Him. The word rendered confidence in the New Testament and often applied to our access to God means literally saying everything. How irrelevant, then, is the question whether we should pray about worldly matters. Friends, talk about all their concerns. In everything, let your requests be made known unto God. But by prayer does not merely mean by petition. Supplication follows. But prayer is more than asking. Where there is no petition, there may be the prayer of contemplation, such as that which the burning seraphs gaze on the throne. The prayer of quiet trust, in which we cleave rather than seek. The prayer of silent submission, in which the will bows itself. The prayer of fruition. These, in Paul's conception, precede supplication. And if we have such union with God by realizing His presence, by aspiring after Himself, by trust in and submission to Him, we have that which conquers anxiety. So all these different kinds of prayer, I think I definitely lacked in them when I was a Jehovah's Witness. This is Maclaren. He says, one aching nerve can monopolize our attention and make us unconscious of the health of all the rest of the body. So a single sorrow or loss obscures many mercies. And then he concludes by saying, be careful for nothing, an impossibility unless in everything we make our request known unto God. I'm going to link to 2 videos of my own. They were both C.S. Lewis messages or reviews of his books. The first one is, why do Jehovah's Witnesses talk so little of God the Father, never even reciting the Lord's Prayer? And I would suggest you read the description for that particular video. And the second one was how my prayers improved after leaving Jehovah's Witnesses, from distant deity to my Father. Thanks for listening.